When people hear Hollywood, they think lights, red carpets, flashbulbs, glam squads, perfect smiles frozen in magazine covers. When I hear Hollywood, I think of locked doors. My mother and I lived 15 minutes from Los Angeles, but it might as well have been another planet. She used to say, "That world eats people." And she said it like she knew. The girl my mother used to be. There's a version of my mom I only know through old interviews and grainy VHS tapes. At 19, she landed a breakout role in a teen drama filmed in Burbank. She had the kind of face cameras loved, sharp cheekbones, wide eyes, the perfect balance between sweet and mysterious. For a while, she was everywhere. Talk shows, red carpets in West Hollywood, magazine spreads calling her America's new sweetheart. Then, suddenly, she wasn't. By the time I was old enough to Google her, her career was a footnote. Promising actress who stepped away from the spotlight. That's how the blogs phrased it. Like it was a choice. The rules. Growing up, our house had rules that felt extreme even for celebrity kids. No posting online. No tagging locations. No answering unknown numbers. No sleepovers. Ever. She didn't let me audition, even though I loved acting. School plays were the closest I got. "You don't need that world," she'd say. When I turned 16 and begged for Instagram, she stared at me like I'd asked for something dangerous. "You don't understand what attention costs," she said quietly. At the time, I thought she was bitter. A washed-up actress clinging to paranoia. I didn't know she was scared. The man she never named. There was no father in the picture. When I asked about him, she'd shut down completely. "He's not part of our life." That was it. No details. No drama. Just a wall. But once, when I was about 12, I woke up in the middle of the night and found her in the living room, watching an old awards show on mute. A famous actor was on stage. Mid-40s. Charismatic. The kind of man Hollywood builds around. She was staring at the screen like she was remembering something painful. When she noticed me, she turned the TV off immediately. "Go back to bed." I didn't know then that I had just seen my father accepting a Lifetime Achievement Award. The scandal that wasn't public. At 26, I decided I wanted answers. I'd just finished film school, behind her back, technically. I told her I was studying marketing. It was easier than fighting. One night, after another argument about why I shouldn't chase Hollywood, I told her I'd found him. She went pale. His name was everywhere. A-list. Respected. Family man. Married with 2 sons. According to timelines, he had been filming with her the year before she disappeared from the spotlight. The blog said she burned bridges. Difficult to work with. Unstable. It was all so vague. When I confronted her, she didn't deny it. She just sat down slowly and said, "You were never supposed to find out like this." What really happened? She was 22. He was 38. Powerful. Established. Protected. They started an affair on set in Malibu during location shoots. She said at first, it felt like a fairy tale. Private dinners. Secret getaways. Promises whispered between takes. Then she got pregnant. When she told him, the fairy tale ended. He didn't yell. He didn't panic. He just got strategic. He had a brand. A marriage. Endorsements worth millions. She had a rising career and no leverage. His team approached her before she could even process the pregnancy. NDAs. Settlement offers. Career guidance. They suggested she quietly take time off. Rebrand later. When she refused to end the pregnancy, the tone changed. Rumors started leaking. Anonymous sources calling her unprofessional, erratic, hard to ensure. Suddenly, roles vanished. Phone calls stopped. Meetings were canceled. She wasn't blacklisted loudly. She was erased quietly. Why we lived like we were hiding. "You think I hate Hollywood," she told me that night. "I don't. I'm afraid of it." When I was born, she signed the settlement. Not for money. For protection. The agreement required silence. No paternity claims. No interviews. No lawsuits. In return, his team agreed to leave her alone. But leave alone in Hollywood doesn't mean safety. It means obscurity. She moved us away from industry circles. Stopped acting completely. Changed agencies. Changed friends. Because if the truth came out, it wouldn't just damage him. It would unleash his machine. "You were a secret that powerful people wanted contained," she said. "That's why I never let you shine too brightly." The twist I didn't expect. I wish that was the end. It wasn't. 3 weeks after our confrontation, I got an email from a producer. They'd seen my short film at a small festival. They loved it. They wanted to meet. The production company? Owned by my father. I hadn't used my real last name in film school, but Hollywood is smaller than it looks. When I told my mom, she looked like someone who had just seen a ghost. They know, she whispered. Suddenly, the rules made sense. The paranoia, the isolation. She wasn't protecting me from fame. She was protecting me from being recognized. The meeting. Against her wishes, I went. The office in Beverly Hills was glass and marble and quiet power. He walked in exactly like he does on screen. Charming, warm, controlled. He looked at me for a long moment before smiling. You look like her, he said softly. Not hello. Not how are you. Just that. He didn't deny it. Didn't need to. He offered mentorship. Opportunities. Guidance. He said he'd always kept an eye on us. That sentence made my stomach drop. Because that meant we were never really hidden. The choice. I went home and told my mom everything. For the first time in my life, she broke in front of me. Not quiet tears. Sobs. I thought if I stayed small, he'd forget, she said. But powerful men don't forget loose ends. They monitor them. I had two options. Expose everything. Risk lawsuits. Risk being branded unstable like she was. Or take the opportunity and pretend I wasn't connected to him. Hollywood rewards silence. It punishes noise. Where it stands now. It's been a year. I didn't expose him. I didn't accept his mentorship either. I signed with a smaller production company outside his circle. My mom still double locks doors. Still avoids premieres. Still flinches when his name trends online. And sometimes, when we pass billboards with his face 10 stories high, I see something in her eyes that isn't fear. It's regret. Not for loving him, but for believing Hollywood wouldn't choose him over her. People think the industry is about talent. It's not. It's about power. And my mother raised me like someone who had already learned that lesson the hard way.